morning, and we have a cool reading for today. So I'm excited to share this with you once we get Instagram on board. She's sluggish today, apparently. Come on, girlfriend, let's go here. There we go. Good mornings to you. Yes, happy Scarlet Day. I'm excited. And it was Lauren's 33rd birthday, so we're going to be celebrating that, Miss Jo Neal, and I'm looking forward to playing with my baby. And of course, I found some clothes for her, so we'll have to test drive all the fun stuff. So happy Friday. Hope you're all having a good start to your day. It is way early. I know quite a few of you probably aren't even out of bed yet. But we've got places to go and babies to squeeze and all that stuff. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome. Glad you're here. I think you guys are going to love this prayer poem today. I will tell her. Yes, 33. How did that happen? Wow. So I was working with a client yesterday, and he was talking about this prayer that he has used to shape his life for quite some time now. And so he read it to me, and I said, that's awesome. Can I get a copy of it? So he sent it to me, and I will be sending him this video after the fact. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it. But I feel like it really resonates. It really chimes for a host of human beings right here, right now. So I want to read it at least once, maybe twice, we'll see, and note for yourself how it resonates. How does it connect with you? How does it, what are the lines that make you go, ooh, make you think, make you pause? That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. So as always, let's start with some tapping and some breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I can feel this right in the middle of my back for some reason. Where are you noticing it? In through the nose, out through the mouth, wiggling a little bit, hearing the popcorn in your neck, everything kind of settling in, grounding through your feet and the base of your spine into Mother Earth. Send down those roots with an exhale. Yes. So I want to give a little background on this particular philosopher and theologian because I was unfamiliar with him. So what do you do then? Yeah, Google. So this is just some background on Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who lived from 1881 to 1955. He was a French Jesuit priest, paleontologist, and philosopher. How's that for an interesting combination, right? It says he was best known for his attempts to synthesize biological evolution with Christian theology, arguing that the universe and human consciousness are evolving towards a final spiritual unity that he called the Omega Point. So there were some notable things here. As a paleontologist, he was internationally recognized. He played a major role in 1929 discovering the Peking man, Homo erectus, in China. And he was the one who determined that early hominids used fire and manipulated stone tools. Those are pretty major discoveries. His philosophy, he was believing that evolution was not a random, directionless process, but one directed through higher levels of complexity and consciousness. How awesome is that? He, along with Vladimir Vernadsky, contributed to the concept of the noosphere, the sphere of human thought and collective consciousness that envelops the earth. Think about that. A sphere of human thought and collective consciousness that envelops the earth. That is awesome. That is just awesome. The Omega Point, he famously theorized that the universe is evolving toward an ultimate focal point. Listen to this, folks. Have we not been talking about this? Of divine love and consciousness, which he identified as the cosmic Christ. Wow. His visionary and philosophical texts were largely unpublished during his lifetime due to ecclesiastical tensions, but later became highly influential. His famous books include The Human Phenomenon and The Divine Milieu. Religious tensions, no kidding, church censorship. Because his theories of evolution and original sin often conflicted with Orthodox Roman Catholic doctrine at the time, his religious superiors forbade him from publishing his philosophical writings. There's that squelching of creativity that we worry about with regard to doctrinal kinds of thought processes, squelching the creativity, the artistic stuff, the authors, the artists, all the things, right? All the things. And then in 1962, several years after his death, the Vatican's Holy Office issued a warning against the uncritical acceptance of his ideas. However, over time, his work found broad appeal and influenced subsequent generations of theologians, scientists, and ecological thinkers. How interesting. And then there was a part where it talked about his quotes. He was actually the guy who came up with the quote, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." That was him. That was him. So I thought that was very interesting background on this man. So I want to share this prayer with you and have you pay attention to what are the aspects in here that really speak to you, that resonate for you, maybe that shake you up a little bit. So let's take a breath. Opening to receiving, and hear these words. Above all, trust in the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We should like to skip the intermediate stages. Anybody? Anybody? We are impatient of being on the way to something unknown, something new. Have we not just been talking about all of this? We are impatient about being on the way, the unknown. Yes, yes, yes. And yet it is the law of all progress that it is made by passing through some stages of instability and some stages of unknowing, right? And that it may take a very long time. And so I think it is with you. Your ideas mature gradually. Let them grow. Plant the seeds. Allow the period of time where you can't see anything happening. Be patient. Be patient. That P word that so many of us struggle with. And then things will come to fruition. Let them shape themselves without undue haste. Don't try to force them on as though you could be today what time, that is to say, grace and circumstances acting on your own goodwill, will make of you tomorrow. So let's just take a moment with that. I'll go back to that, but let me finish the last paragraph and then I'll go back to that. Only God could say what this new spirit gradually forming within you will be. Give our Lord the benefit of believing that his hand is leading you, and accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete. Totally what we've been talking about. Good morning, Barb. Glad you are here. Welcome. And notice how, with the assistance of my client, I stumbled upon this that reiterates what we've been thinking about, feeling about, talking about, working on, right? So let's go back a little bit. Don't try to force them on as though you could be today what time will make of you tomorrow. And that is to say, time. That is to say, grace and circumstances acting on your own goodwill. So I want you to claim that. Let's take a moment. Put your hands over your heart. I want you to claim that. I know grace and circumstances are acting on my own goodwill. Say it again. I know grace and circumstances are acting on my own goodwill. How does that feel to you? You're not doing this alone. You're not adrift in the abyss. You are heavily, highly, light-filledly supported, right? How does that feel? For me, it's that same sensation of I was talking to, I think, this particular client about this, or one other client yesterday, I don't remember. But my concept was, if I'm standing here alone and you come up and give me a shove, I am likely to fall over. But if I am standing here with my arms linked to others and you come up and you give me a shove, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We need to link arms. We need to become unified. That's what we're working on right now. It may feel like we are so far apart, the abyss is in between us. It may feel that way. It may look that way, but we are on our way to unity. We are on our way to unity. Breathe that in. Exhale. We're in the middle of it. We're in the mire and the muck, but we are on our way to unity. And something I thought about the other day, and it made me have great appreciation for much of history, is, I don't know about for you, but in school, when we were reading history, I'd read things about, well, there was this potato famine, or there was this civil uprising, or there was this, whatever it was. And I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, fine, move on. Then thinking about what was that like for the people who were in the middle of it. The 1918 pandemic. What was that like for the people who were in the middle of it? Had no concept of that until COVID. We have our opportunities to have these same uncertainties and doubts and difficult periods, etc. And then we have the opportunities within those difficulties. Remember, the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. Who do you choose to be? You have a choice. You have a choice. Grace and circumstances acting on my own goodwill. Grace and circumstances. I call in grace. I call in grace. Okay? So, and believing that we are being led, that we're in flow, we have a path. We have a path. Accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete. One of my other clients yesterday is on the cusp of publishing her third book and has all the prior anxiety and what ifs and fears, etc. So that's what we were working her through. And Jo Neal, you'll be excited to know her book features a nurse. She herself is a nurse. This is a novel, but it's about going. I was telling her about your book, so you may sell one more. But that she was trained as a nurse, had a child with disabilities, took years off to be home with that child, went back to nursing, and got chewed up and spit out by the system. That nurses not only eat their young, they eat those who they perceive as not knowing enough, not, and not being of support to them, but throwing them under the bus. So thank God you wrote your book so that there's an opportunity to change that nasty, nasty, nasty dynamic. That is not how people ought to be treated. And certainly in a profession that has such dire consequences for those who are served, definitely need to have the arm linking. I think you need to connect with her. I will check with her and see if she's willing to do so. Absolutely so. So, what do you think of this prayer? What do you think of this prayer, this poem? I'm going to read through it one more time, and I really want you to soak it up. I'm not going to do any commentary. I will merely read. See what you notice. Above all, trust in the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We should like to skip the intermediate stages. We are impatient of being on the way to something unknown, something new. And yet, it is the law of all progress that it is made by passing through some stages of instability, and that it may take a very long time. And so I think it is with you. Your ideas mature gradually. Let them grow. Let them shape themselves without undue haste. Don't try to force them on, as though you could be today what time, that is to say, grace and circumstances acting on your own good will make of you tomorrow. Only God can say what this new spirit, gradually forming within you, will be. Give our Lord the benefit of believing that his hand is leading you, and accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. How awesome is that? I hope that gives you some guidance for your day. I hope that maybe helps you feel more confident in the face of your insecurities and your instabilities in your world and your uncertainties and all the things. Embrace them, allow them to be, know that they are an integral step in the process. So, have an awesome Friday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye bye.